Hussain Rana, a key figure in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, is finally on his way to India after a prolonged legal battle in the United States. Rana's extradition marks a significant victory for India's diplomatic efforts and legal strategies, particularly in countering the double jeopardy defense raised by Rana's legal team. Rana, a Pakistani-Canadian national, was arrested by the FBI in Chicago in October 2009 for his involvement in the Mumbai attacks and other terror-related offences. He was later sentenced to 14 years in prison in Jan 2013. India first requested his extradition in 2019 December, but Rana resisted through multiple legal appeals. Let's in fact go across to Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, the former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, I'd like your first reaction on this massive development. The plotter of 26/11 attacks, the mastermind Tahawwur Rana, is being brought to India.
Well, it is indeed a good news because 2008 Mumbai terror incident, which killed almost 180 people, that investigation has been going on at various levels. Mumbai police in 2008 itself, 2009, provided sufficient information to the American justice system, and both Rana and David Coleman Headley, his associate, were arrested in Chicago in October of 2009. From that day on, both of them have been trying their defense not to be extradited to India, not to face trial in India. Rana's trial continued. He was sentenced for some 14 years. But David Coleman Headley cooperated with the US authorities, accepted his role in the planning of the terror attacks, and then became an informer for the US Drug Enforcement Agency. And he is now on the US government payrolls. Right. And therefore the question of extraditing or sending David Coleman Headley back to India doesn't arise. But in case of Tahawwur Rana, the extradition matter has been going on for a long time. A very complicated US legal provisions.
Yes.
The lawyers from India, from Bombay police, the NIA, immediately after that attack, the case was handed to NIA. And NIA is involved, Intelligence Bureau is involved, Bombay Police is involved. And finally, after a lot of diplomatic efforts and very strong legal efforts by Indian government, Indian authorities, today we have a situation where Tahawwur Rana has actually been brought back to Delhi.
Right.
His
Mr.
trial
Chavan,
will now
in
begin.
2008, when the attack
in the high
took place
security
in
prison
Mumbai,
in Delhi.
You were part of the ruling dispensation, the UPA. Now, was enough done back then to send out a message that this will not be tolerated, they will not be let off, and that the sacrifices made by our braves and the people who were killed will be avenged? Because the Union Minister today, Mr. Piyush Goyal, said that the Congress went soft on terrorists. How do you respond to that?
No. I mean, Piyush Goyal and the BJP tries to get into politics and every little things, whether it is the economic situation in United States, whether it's fighting against terrorism. Everywhere they see politics, and they want to make a petty little political gains. Let's not forget that it was the information provided by the Bombay police in 2008-9 that these two people were arrested, thanks to the information by Mumbai police. The matter has been going on. There are legal systems in the United States. You cannot bypass that. You can't force. There is no question of diplomatic pressure or anything. That the legal process in America. America is a very strong democracy. They have a very strong constitution, and people have rights. Unlike in India now, where a particular community, particular minorities do not seem to have any rights. So they fought under the American justice system. It's a very long, drawn-out battle. Our extradition request ultimately was accepted. He then went to the US Supreme Court. The Supreme Court also rejected the request of Mr. Tahawwur Hussain Rana, And today he has come back. Our NIA team had gone to fetch him, and he has come to India. Now, one of the issues that comes up is, why isn't Mumbai police involved in the matter? Why is he not being given to Mumbai police? Or at least Mumbai police could have been actively involved in the further investigation of Rana by NIA and Intelligence Bureau.
You know, well, as far as the Mumbai police or the crime branch is concerned, top sources suggest that the crime branch is at the moment looking into the issue, studying the issue very, very closely in terms of whether or not a custody issue can come up. But interesting that you say that, you know, like in India, the minorities have no right. Well, Tahawwur Rana also tried playing that card, Mr. Chavan. He said that he is a Muslim of the Pakistani origin, that he'll be tortured in the Indian jails. But that defense of his was rejected in the US court.
No, that's what defense he wants to put up is his right. In United States, the judicial legal system, he can plead any defense that he wants, and the courts will decide, and courts have ruled. The point is, Mr. Piyush Goyal's statement that UPA government or Congress government went soft is totally a ridiculous argument. It's petty argument. They see politics in everything, which is very sad. It was the Mumbai police during the UPA government which caught hold of Kassab, tried him to the best international legal standards, and ultimately punished Kassab. Wasn't Kassab a Muslim? What religion did he belong to? Did religion come in the way of delivering justice against terror? This is totally ridiculous, a petty-mindedness of the BJP.
And what do you think of the politics that is happening at the moment? A race to take credit. Mr. Amrinder Singh Raja Vading has said, you know, the BJP is celebrating as if you've got exemption from the Trump government, that there'll be no reciprocal tariff on India. Why are you celebrating so much? Why are you making a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Is it not a diplomatic win for India?
No, actually, look, every government of the day tries to protect the interests of the Indian state. If an terror attack is committed against India, whether it is a Bajpayee government or whether it is any Manmohan Singh government or any government, will definitely defend the rights of India. Seeing politics in it and to accuse that UPA government was soft on terror is a completely nonsensical argument which needs to be rejected outright. It is a combined effort of every government. They tried to do it. Sometimes they were successful, they were not successful. There's a US legal system against which we have to fight, we have to find a way out of it. I mean, it's a happy situation that no perpetrator of terror will be spared. It's good. I mean, if any diplomatic efforts went to it, so much the better. They have become ministers only to defend India's interests, and there is nothing special about it. But to charge that biryani was given to Kassab and all that is such a petty-mindedness.
Okay. Then what do you have to say, Mr. Chavan, about what the then Air Force chief said? You know, that we could have avenged the killing, we could have carried out a strike, our Air Force could have done that. Now the questions that are raised is, were hurdles created, was a go-ahead not given, was there hesitation in acting against Pakistan, despite Pakistan's role being crystal clear in the 26/11 attack?
No. Who has made this allegation? Who has charged this? Let there be open debate whether any government led by either Dr. Manmohan Singh or UPA government, all that, was soft on terror. This is ridiculous. I mean, see, all these long legal battles take many, many years, and many regimes change happened here. I mean, the incident took place while Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. The arrest took place while UPA government was in power. Later on, the government changed, and the Modi government continues their battle.
You're saying the UPA government did not create any hindrance or did not try to block? Because, like I was saying, the Indian Air Force chief back then said that they wanted to avenge the 26/11 attack, but looks like their attempts were blocked. Based on that, perhaps these statements are being given that the UPA government back then went soft. You're saying this is ridiculous argument, it's just petty politics. Thank you very much, Mr. Chavan, for joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for
I think I think these charges are beyond contempt.
Okay.
I mean, there is no point in responding to this. This is completely a sick mind which is making such charges. I mean, there's no need to reply to that.
All right. Thank you very much for giving us your time. Let me, in fact, now go across to our reporters. We have Rishabh, Isha and Bhavtosh joining us on the broadcast. We'll also try and go across to the guests who are joining us on the broadcast. I see Ratan Sharda and Syed Asad Abbas joining us as well, along with Sanjay Hegde. Let me first go across to Rishabh. Rishabh, take us through what we can expect now, starting from touchdown. What time is that going to happen?
Well, it could be any time now. I was just speaking to a few people who are tracking within the establishment, tracking this flight, and what we're given to understand at times now that this could be around 4 o'clock, post 3 anytime. The landing could happen at the Palam Technical Air Base is what we're given to understand. The security is here, multi-layer security is in place here. Delhi police, bulletproof vehicles, as well as other security apparatus, commandos and all are here to ensure that a foolproof security is provided once he lands. What we are given to understand, and as our senior colleague Bhavtosh was also pointing out, that once Tahawwur Rana lands in India on the soil of Indian territory, first he will be taken into custody, formally arrested, then a further course of action will take place. Whether he'll be taken from here to the NIA headquarters or to an undisclosed location is yet not clear, but securities at various locations have been settled as we are talking.
Stay on with us. So massive security outside the Palam airport. He will directly be taken to the NIA headquarters from there. Let's in fact take a look at how we have arrived at this day when Tahawwur Rana is being brought back to face the Indian law. So it was in 2009, October 2009, right after the 26/11 attacks in 2008, that Tahawwur Rana was arrested by the FBI in Chicago in the United States of America. In 2011, he was also charge sheeted by the NIA for his role. Remember, he was one of the masterminds of the 26/11 attack, worked with David Coleman Headley. In Jan 2013, convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison in the United States of America. And then in 2019, December, extradition request by India was made to get Tahawwur Rana back. And it is since 2019, the persistent efforts of the government that today we are witnessing this day when the mastermind of the 26/11 attack, one of the masterminds, Tahawwur Rana, is being brought back. Then June 2020, he was released on compassionate grounds from the prison. May 2023, extradition. Magistrate judge rejected Rana's arguments. He tried to once again run away, evade Indian law, but all his attempts failed. Petitioned US District Court for a writ of habeas corpus in August 2024, which was rejected. The US Court of Appeals of 9th Circuit upheld the district court order, and the appeals that were being made by Rana were being rejected one by one. Then in November 2024, Tahawwur Rana filed last appeal in the Supreme Court. Jan 2025, Supreme Court accepted India's appeal. Justice Kagan again rejected Rana's plea. In March 2025, Trump announced Rana's extradition. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was right there when that announcement was made by Donald Trump. He said, looks like Tahawwur Rana is an evil person. April 2025, emergency stay petition rejected by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He tried every trick in the book to ensure that he does not have to face the Indian law, including playing the minority card, saying that he's a Muslim from the Pakistani origin and that he's going to be tortured in the Indian jails. All those appeals were rejected by the US courts, and after which now Tahawwur Rana is being brought back to India. Isha continues to be with us. We also have Sanjay Hegde and Syed Asad Abbas. Let me first go across to Mr. Hegde. Mr. Hegde, can perhaps throw more light on how difficult this entire legal battle must have been?
Well, obviously it's been a difficult legal battle. Add to that the fact that Mr. Rana happens to be a Canadian citizen as well. So the US courts would probably have deferred or taken into consideration the fact that he was a Canadian citizen. Now, Rana, you must remember his background. He was a doctor. He also had a business in travel consultancy, in addition to a butcher shop and an immigration law office. The allegations against him are that he provided cover and as well as help to David Coleman Headley, who was originally Dawood Gilani. Rana was put on trial in the US also for the death of US citizens who were killed on 26/11. There was a verdict that he was not part of the conspiracy. But nevertheless, he was also sentenced for other offenses to a period of 14 years. While all these proceedings were going on, the Indian government waited, maybe correctly so, because anyway he was in custody there, he could not be brought here. In 2019 is when we filed our extradition request, particularly because it became apparent that after 14 years that the US may have to let him go. So when it was nearing the end of his sentence, he has now been brought to India to face Indian law, and there will be a trial against him under the UAPA. A special public prosecutor has already been announced. So Mr. Rana will get the full process of due process under Indian law, and whatever are the consequences, so be it. He is entitled to full due process, he is entitled to legal representation, and India is a proud country that gave even Ajmal Kasab the entire due process of the law. The same thing will continue with Mr. Rana.
Absolutely, but there are those who are still saying, there should be a fair trial, perhaps as if raising suspicion. I want to bring in Syed Asad Abbas. Isn't it the time today to look at this as India's win, a diplomatic win for our country, instead of getting into this entire credit race, or to say, why is the BJP celebrating? Why make a big deal out of it? You are celebrating as if you've got some exemption from the Trump administration on the reciprocal tariffs. Isn't that unfortunate?
I truly believe that in matters of national security, politics must not be done. As a very tall leader of the Congress party, Shri Prithviraj Chavan on your show said that anyone doing politics on this is petty-mindedness. I think undoubtedly it's a great win for India. I think we as a nation should take great pride in this. Terrorists must be dealt accordingly.
Okay, all right. We have breaking inputs coming in. I'm being told that Tahawwur Rana has entered in Indian airspace. The aircraft that is bringing him here in India has entered the Indian airspace. That's the big development that we are reporting for you. The plotter of 26/11 attacks, one of the masterminds who was constantly in touch with David Coleman Headley, is inside the Indian airspace. He is being brought here in India to face the Indian law. He will land at the Palam airport. From there, directly will be taken to the NI headquarters. Our reporters are on ground getting us all these updates. This is a massive development. Rana has entered the Indian airspace. He's being brought back here to face the Indian law. So Tahawwur Rana, one of the plotters who's responsible for the killing of innocent individuals in the 26/11 terror attack, one of the biggest, deadliest terror attacks in India, is being brought here in India to pay for his sins, to pay for how he helped David Coleman Headley hatch this entire plan, for him to hatch the plan in close coordination with the Pakistani handlers and operators. Tahawwur Rana will now be facing the Indian law. Preparations are all done here in India to ensure that Tahawwur Rana is punished as per the Indian law. Let's go across to Isha for more on this. Isha, big news coming in. Tahawwur Rana has entered the Indian airspace.
Right, Swati, what we're breaking at this instant is that Tahawwur Rana has entered the Indian airspace, and that is what we're breaking right now. In fact, currently we're reporting from right outside the Palam Air Force Station, where there is a continuous to and fro of police vehicles that is taking place. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we saw that 4 police vehicles went inside, and an ambulance went in as well. And after that, a formal arrest will further take place, and then the medical of Tahawwur Rana will take place. But this is a huge diplomatic victory for India. Tahawwur Rana, the one who conspired against India, who was responsible for the 27/11 attacks, is being brought back to Indian soil, and he will be facing the law. What we are currently breaking is that he has entered the Indian airspace.
Absolutely. Isha, stay on with us. We also have Rishabh joining us from outside the Palam airport. And the aircraft, the special aircraft bringing Tahawwur Rana to India, Rishabh, has entered the Indian airspace.
Well, what we are given to understand right now that the aircraft carrying Tahawwur Rana along with other NIA officials had also refueled in Dubai. This is an inside scoop that we are bringing in for our viewers, that the aircraft was refueled again in Dubai a couple of hours ago, and now we can sure tell our viewers through valid sources that Tahawwur Rana's aircraft is right now is in Indian airspace. So he is now in Indian jurisdiction is what we can confirm to our viewers. Remember, this is big diplomatic win for India. It took 17 years, but yes, after 17 years, 26/11 attack, one of the 26/11 attack culprit is being brought back to India. He will be tried as per Indian laws, and justice will be delivered to the victims who lost their lives, loved ones in 26/11 terror attack in Mumbai.
Absolutely. In fact, the Pak-based conspirators and the handlers perhaps also will be exposed now as Rana is interrogated. It will be very important to track the kind of information that comes in terms of what Rana is going to say in the NIA custody. Rishabh, stay on with us. We also have our guest. Let me quickly take a response from Ratan Sharda on this. Ratan Sharda, politics aside, this is a big moment for India. We are given to understand the aircraft bringing Tahawwur Rana to India has entered the airspace, and of course our officials ready, preparations all done, and now next action will begin.
Swati, first of all, congratulations to the Indian diplomatic missions, the Indian Foreign Ministry and the intelligence agencies who are able to provide evidence good enough for the US courts to allow the extradition of Rana. But I am very disturbed and very upset by Prithviraj, who just came on a program 5 minutes ago, said Rana had all the rights in America to fight for justice, unlike in India where minorities have no rights. What is the message it's sending to the world outside? That is a question. And for the persons who are involved in 26/11 by not going to, who saw this terror attack, where I live in Mumbai, I imagine the horror of that time. I imagine the horror of serial blast in trains. I remember the horrors of every festival getting into terror, terror attacks. Today the people say don't get into politics. On 26/11, when the Air Force wanted to counter the attack of 26/11, this government kneeled. It refused to take any action. I will not remember it. You mean to say when on 26/11 there was a terror tour in Taj Mahal by the CM of Congress with film people? Would I not remember that? And would I not remember on 1971, despite such a huge victory, 54 prisoners of war of India were left behind in Pakistan, where we released every prisoner of war from India. So when you try to pass off these things as very routine, when Indians where this government had rescued people across the world right from 2014 to 2022, 23, even now, whether it's war-torn countries like Ukraine and Sudan, or whether it's terror attack, whether it's COVID, and we try to belittle these things. We see there is nothing in it. We talk about minorities not having rights, so you are passing a message that Tahawwur Rana was right in USA when he claimed he not get justice.
Tahawwur Rana tried playing that same card in the US court, saying that he's a Muslim, perhaps he'll be tortured, and the US courts also rejected that kind of bizarre argument. But there seems to be, doubt and suspicion when it comes to some people here in India. Ratan Sharda, Sanjay Hegde and Syed Asad Abbas, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. A very quick break, our coverage continues. Stay on with us.